Alright, so for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, I'm actually really excited about this. Trying to remember if there was anything that really threw me off besides commenters assuming that the director and writers are going to disrespect the Logan storyline, which they have adamantly, and everything from Hugh and Ryan up to the directors and writers have all said, nope, we're not touching it. Still refuse to believe that that was, Sokovia at the beginning of Ultron. But, some people are just so hopeful that we can keep a hold of some of the Fox trash that we had. Now, I haven't seen that movie, and I'm not calling it trash, but a lot of what Fox did was trash, and that's why I stopped watching their movies. So, if it is a really good one, and I should give it a shot, go ahead. Comment down below and I'll give it a shot. I'm still trying to get through all the rest of the Crapflex series so that we can actually, have honest reviews on them. But I'll get to that. But back to Deadpool and Wolverine. I actually have an interesting theory about the different seemingly factions of the TVA. If you remember, we don't know what's going on with Ravonna Renslayer, except we know that she is very much against Kang right now. So I want you to picture a Ravonna faction and, the Loki faction. One side would be trying to, bring him in for help. The other side probably is still trying to prune people in timelines. That would help for all the incursions and things going on. But, beyond that, I think it's just going to be kind of something to help drive the plot forward, help bring things into the MCU. All the cameos people are mentioning, the writers and directors have already put out the list. It's the Foxverse, which means we got all of the Fox X-Men minus Logan. They specifically said X1, 2, and 3, Days of Future Past, the Apocalypse, and the Phoenix story, as well as both iterations of the Fox Fantastic Four. So any of those characters have a chance to pop up. If you're not in one of those movies, you're not a character that has a chance to pop up in this. And I'm fine with that. This is not supposed to be a full connected to everything. What we're looking at is the X-Men universe. We're watching where the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, the Foxverse basically, slowly erode. At the end of the Marvels, you remember when it was the two universes. Well, we're looking at an X-Men / Fox universe and the Disney Sony verse where the main MCU is. And I say Sony because technically, if you know the comics, no matter what the multiverse is, the spider people are like in the web of connection. It's the web of destiny. It actually connects in. It's not in every universe there's a Spider-Man, but in every one that the webs tap into, there's a Spider-Person. So they're the same thing. So what was the third universe? I got a short that's going to be releasing today about the dual sacred timeline. But I'd like to point out that technically we got to see 3. The third one is universal. And what does that mean? Well, Universal's gone, welcoming back the Hulk and other IPs. So it's shattering as now these two are waging. We're about to see the death of the Foxverse, where all heroes that we want to keep are coming over. I really, really hope that this becomes X-Men versus Avengers, and we don't know that that Avengers movie is coming. Because that would be amazing. And instead of having like Jean Grey or Xavier show up to read minds, you actually have Maria Rambeau as Photon showing up and being like, hey, we are not enemies of each other. This is a much bigger problem. And so everyone comes together and fights. And you could throw a Kang in there, but let it be X-Men versus Avengers, and then they got to solve the problem because the real big bad guy was actually an incursion. Maybe this is where you could bring in the Hyperion team from a different universe. Have them have to defend stuff. So now they're fighting up against a freaking like Superman level character. And that would be interesting. But, it is what it is. But I am super excited to see where it goes, especially having Pyro in it. I mean, that easily could be, I think it was the 70s or 80s version of Doctor Doom, where he actually did have a gun. There's actually a comic where, that was kind of his thing. I'd like to see some of the old versions. Like, a lot of people keep talking about how we had the first Fox and Fantastic Four, then the second one, and now we're getting a third. This is the fourth. There was one in the 70s or 80s, maybe a little earlier. There was also a Captain America movie. And let's see, it was Fantastic Four and a Thor movie. So these are all old versions. So it's not, way before my time, and I'm 35. So I would just sit there and say, it would help if people actually did the research to know, hey, we could also be having some of these guys appear and things from their elements of comic storylines. And that would just be cool. It'd be a much more respectful way to handle it than DC did with The Flash, giving a, goodbye to all the old Supermen and not even giving, what's-his-name's family anything for using his image. This is a very disrespectful move. But I'm excited for it. I hope it pans out, and I hope we get to see a bit of the bigger picture coming. So, hey, if you'd like to keep hearing things like this and having your personal geeky guru give you an honest take and call out the anti-fans, go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow along. I got more of them that are going to be uploading later today.